Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at some vegans who are like activists or whatever. They got a movement that they are part of and everything, and they went into a store and they did some pretty ridiculous stuff, and I kind of just wanted to hop on here and talk about it because I really don't understand like why people allow vegans to do stuff like this. Like, I don't understand why people play into it and everything, and you know, people say things like, oh, Optimus, well, you're playing into it by making a video and giving these people attention. I'm doing my best to not give them that attention. I just kind of want to cover this because in all reality, like, I find it completely ridiculous that like people just accept this, you know what I mean? Like, the people in the grocery store probably like contained themselves away from these people. They probably like actually listened to them. I just don't get like why these types of things happen. Like, I understand vegans, they're trying to spread their beliefs, they're trying to change the world, they're trying to make an impact on society, but at the same time, they're like so aggressive with their movement and like the message that they spread that, to me at least, they end up actually doing more harm than good, and they do more damage to their message and their overall movement in general. And it really just doesn't make sense to me because like the more that you tell them this and the more that you tell vegans like, hey, maybe chill it out with what you're doing, the harder that they go, like the less they listen. And then like these people will sit around and wonder like, man, why do people hate vegans? Why do people think that vegans are self-righteous assholes all the time, right? It couldn't have anything to do with you guys doing anything like this, right? So this apparently is taking place in, I believe, Australia. And so a bunch of vegans went into like a local grocery store slash supermarket and they held a protest, man. They held themselves a nice little protest where they pretty much harassed people in the stores. They went around and acted like complete nuisances. They blocked off the meat aisle of the entire store by sitting down and having a protest. Basically just being the most annoying people on planet Earth because, well, they don't want people to eat meat, right? Which, you know, I get, right? Like, you don't want people to participate in the meat industry. You don't want people to eat animals and whatnot. You find it cruel. But it's really not your right to tell other people what they do and like what they can and can't believe. And in my opinion, you also don't really have the right to go to the grocery store and like harass and fuck with people who are just trying to go about their daily life with your annoying ass protest that's really only designed to make people hate you more. A horde of angry vegans have stormed a busy supermarket holding up confronting placards and blocking customers from buying meat. Members of the Farm Transparency Project occupied the meat aisle of Spencer Street Coles in Melbourne on Sunday, calling for a ban on pigs being kept in cages. The group claims the supermarket giant is using pork suppliers that keep pigs in small cramped cages known as sow stalls, even though the industry in Victoria committed to phasing out the factory farming practice by the end of 2017. Okay, so they have an understandable reason to be mad. Like, I'm not here to say like all vegans are fucking idiots, nothing they say is true or matters or anything. The industry promised to phase this kind of stuff out by the end of 2017. They're still doing it. They didn't keep up with their promise. I get that, right? But I genuinely want to know, like, what is going down to like fucking Walmart, for instance, right? What is going to Walmart and just standing in front of the meat aisle gonna do to stop people from buying meat? Like, let me go ahead and think of all the different ways people could circumvent this fucking protest. Number one, step between the protesters and just grab the item that you want anyway. They literally can't legally touch you or fuck with you, and most of them are probably too scared to do it anyway. Like, a lot of them are like 55-year-old women, so they're not whipping your ass or anything. Number two, go to a different store where these annoying protesters are at, right? Or I should rather say where they're not at, so you can basically go and not have to deal with this shit. Number three, DoorDash your groceries or like use an online ordering service. Number four, go to the deli. Like, there's so many different ways that you can circumvent this protest. So that's like a really ineffective fucking protest, if we're being honest. All it's doing is making people in the store look at these people like they're fucking lunatics and idiots. And can you blame the people? Like, imagine you're there to, I don't know, buy a new Xbox controller, right? And you see 35 morons with their hands painted red screaming about pigs in cages holding up pictures of animals and blocking off the fucking Applewood smoked bacon over on aisle 14, right? You would think these people are lunatics, and you know what? Honestly, not your fault for thinking that way. It's like, I've heard a lot of vegans say shit like, oh, why do people have such a bad image of vegans? Why do people think vegans are so annoying? Why do people hate vegans? Have you guys ever considered maybe it's because of shit like this? Like ineffective protests, ineffective messaging, annoying and inconveniencing people. These are not ways to get people on your side. And it's like insane to me that the vegan movement hasn't picked up on that, right? Like if you really want to get people on board, you don't do it by pissing them off and making them think that you're a bad person, right? They then marched around the supermarket playing audio of pigs squealing in pain to the dismay of shoppers. Grim footage captured 2 months earlier found, quote, at least 6 Victorian piggeries, didn't know that was a word, are confining mother pigs to the crates, with some animals spending up to 27 days at a time with no room to turn around, the group claims. Despite the use of sow stalls, the Farm Transparency Project alleges top producers are still marketing their products as cage-free at Kohl's, Woolworths, IGA, and Costco. Alright, and this is just a suggestion that I think would make infinitely more sense. Why not just go to the meat processing plants and protest there? Like, you know who's responsible for this, and you know who's, like, fucking doing it. Why not go and harass and bug those people instead of the innocent people trying to feed their families and live normal lives? Like, which sounds like a more effective protest to the meat industry, right? Going to their headquarters and their facilities and protesting outside of there to raise awareness, I guess. Or going to the supermarket, pissing off 300 people trying to do their daily shopping, getting a viral article written that makes you guys look like the fucking assholes, and basically making the entire internet think you're goofballs. Which one makes more sense to you guys, right? And so, like many of these protests and like many of these activists, it really only leads me to believe one thing. These people are doing it for attention. I'm gonna assume that many of these people don't genuinely care about the issue at hand. And yeah, you know, they're not completely wrong. Like, yeah, there's a lot of shit in the meat industry that's disgusting. If you haven't watched like some of the documentaries about how your food's made and like how these factories operate, it's disgusting. There's a lot of things that need to be changed. There's a lot of just inhumane standards held there. But do you think that the guy trying to buy steak for dinner is worried about the stupid protesters that are acting like fucking morons in Walmart? Or do you think he's worried about getting his grade A USDA steak and walking out the front door at a decent price? I'm gonna be real with you, man. Like, if I'm in the store and I hear like a bunch of assholes blaring pig noises and like squealing and shit, maybe I sound like the bad guy here, but is that really enough to stop me? Like, I'm still going in and buying food, you know what I mean? I'm still going in and buying meat. I'm still consuming meat. Like, yeah, I know this shit happens. You don't have to tell me. I'm very aware of it. But at the end of the day, this just isn't the way to get your message across. Like, how is this not considered more of like fucking public harassment? I don't know. But at the end of the day, like, this is the problem with vegans, man. Like, they wonder why no one likes them. They wonder why their community is always looked at as self-righteous and obnoxious. Then every time you see vegans publicly doing really anything, it's shit like this, where they just go around and fuck with people, instead of going after the people they're actually mad at. Like, yeah, maybe go to the factory that you have a problem with and protest there, and leave the single mother of 6 alone that's trying to fucking feed her family, right? Like, I don't know. Overall, it's just ridiculous, man. So I wanted to get on here and just kind of cover it and talk about it because, like, yeah, the question still arises all the time from vegans about why people don't fuck with them, and here's your perfect example right here, man. So anyway, with that being said, though, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubTheOptimus. Make sure to check out Shoptimus down below. Thank you to my Watch Optimus subscribers. Your support helps the channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, talking about this vegan protest and signing out.